Hi, I'm Rick. Welcome to Elbow Shots. Today we're going to do an LVT tile with grout over existing sheet vinyl in a laundry room. Let's take a look. On inspection, there are no major issues. The sheet vinyl appears to be well bonded everywhere with no irregularities found in the underlayment. The embossing here is very slight. With most sheet vinyl floors, you will have to use a leveling compound to fill and smooth the surface to prevent telegraphing of the old pattern through your new flooring. You will have to decide whether or not you need to apply leveling compound. I'm going to carefully remove the aluminum flat bar and stair nosing because I want to salvage and reuse what I can, but not that stair nose. I've discovered a nasty squeak in a high traffic area. It sounds like it is in this specific area here. The squeak is likely caused by the subfloor rubbing on a nail that is supposed to be holding it to the floor joist. I'm going to run a screw into it with the intention of pinning the underlayment and subfloor to the joist, which should stop the movement that's causing the squeak. Just when I thought I had it fixed, I discover I've missed the mark. It's quieter now because the subfloor and underlayment are pinned together, but not into the floor joist. So I'm going to run another screw in about an inch or so over to find the joist. Sounds like I got it now. Taking a little time to make undercuts almost always takes less time and gives you much better results than trying to cut around the trim. Using a multi-master with a thin blade allows me to use a scrap of flooring turned upside down as a guide. You can also use a sharp handsaw or a specially designed undercut saw. With a thicker blade, you may have to use thinner material, like 1 or 2 scraps of sheet laminate, as a guide to keep your cut at the right height. I want to stop the cut at the carpet edge, so I use a narrow straight blade screwdriver to split the trim. At this exterior door, I cut the lifted edge of vinyl to prevent it from forcing my scrap and so my cut up too high. The underlayment is swollen just enough to trap my cutoff piece. If you're cutting trim that extends below the surface, make 2 cuts. First one flush with the surface, then one to allow for your flooring. Now we get to have some fun. Let's take a look at layout. Our tile is a 16 by 16 inch square, and we're going to use a 3mm spacer. These spacers are an Elbow Shots exclusive of my own design. There's a video of my prototype demo from a few years ago right here on my channel, and you can buy them through the link in the description here. This model, ARCHIE, can be used to space tiles at 2 or 3 millimeters. The wedge shape makes it easy to keep them oriented in the proper direction. It may not seem like much of a difference between 2 and 3 millimeters, but there's a difference in the overall look as well as the workability when grouting. With tile, we do layout in 2 directions. Our forward layout here is our length from the doorway to the other end of the room, and lateral layout is side to side. Let's begin with a full tile from the doorway. Use full tiles whenever possible to reduce cutting time. In this forward layout, it works out pretty well. We have a full tile in the doorway, more than half a tile at the top of the stairs, and the opposite end will have appliances covering it. Let's go with that. So our lateral layout with a full tile coming off of our long wall isn't bad. You could install it this way and have fewer cuts. The number of cuts isn't the only consideration though. The difficulty of cuts should be looked at as well. It's easier to make an L-shaped cut than a U-shaped cut, so let's see what happens when we shift our control line over a couple of inches. This slight shift centers the layout in the room better, making it more visually appealing, and I can pre-cut this piece as well as the tiles for the long wall while I wait for the glue to dry. Now that we have our layout determined, let's make our mark. We want our control line to be centered as nearly as reasonable in the room, so the first mark is along the inside edge of our dry fit tile. Also, we'll put a mark at the other end of the room on the floor and the wall, the same distance from the long wall as our first mark. Then we can verify that our control line is also parallel to the opposite wall. I use a laser to shoot my control line. The laser is much more versatile, but you can also use a chalk line. Either way, using a straight edge and permanent marker or carpenter's pencil, mark the control line on the floor. We'll be able to see it to set our tile through the dried adhesive. Speaking of adhesive, always follow the manufacturer's guidelines when it comes to the selection of the proper adhesive and spread rate. There are many brilliant people engineering these products to work together. There are some cross-compatibilities as well as multi-use products, but you will usually get the best results by sticking to their recipe. I begin by cutting in at the wall, then cross-comb along the wall to make sure it's evenly spread at the edge. Get enough adhesive onto the floor so you'll have something to work with. Keeping your trowel at a consistent angle, about 45 degrees, will give you a consistent spread rate. The more upright the trowel angle, the more adhesive that passes through the teeth. Keep your trowel moving fluidly. Comb it well to prevent any goobers or holidays. You can actually pick up and move the adhesive with some clever trowel work. Knock off excessive buildup before spreading near sensitive areas like trim and other finished surfaces. Take just the right amount out to those edges. Now we wait for that to dry. Oh, hang on. I left this part for last so that the main area of the floor will be drying while I'm spreading this here. The glue will be ready when there is no transfer of adhesive. In our next video, we will cut and set the tile, and in part 3 I'll show you some grouting techniques to help you get professional results. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.